Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the $29,000 Model 3, another Cybertruck sighting, Tesla's Investor Day tease, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, the Model Y is creeping up in the ranks all over the world. According to the German KBA, an organization that keeps track of vehicle registrations, Tesla sales in Germany have increased by more than 900% since January of 2021. Now, Tesla has announced that the Model Y was the best-selling EV in January, selling 3,708 models. The only automaker that came close to Tesla's growth here was Nissan, selling 1,998 units, which is a growth rate of 49% compared to last year. The Model 3 is now back in second place, though both cars have decreased in popularity compared to gas cars. The vehicle that was number one overall was the VW Golf, selling over 6,000 units. In Germany, EV sales make up just over 10% of the overall vehicle market, which is a slight decrease from last month. Over in Denmark, the Model Y became their second best-selling car in January. Overall vehicle sales there grew 10.7% last month, and EV sales accounted for 21% of those. That's a 32% increase from the same period last year. The Model Y alone sold 481 units, losing only to the Peugeot 208, which sold 527 units. Usually sales tend to dip in January, but Tesla's ramping of Giga Berlin is definitely helping to meet European demand. In California, the Model Y has taken 17% of the overall EV market, which is huge. According to the California New Car Dealers Association's annual report, total vehicle registrations were down 7.9% in 2022, but EV registrations were up 50%. Quote, a positive in California's 2022 new vehicle market, sales of electric vehicles, with an estimated increase in market share of 17.1%. While vehicle pricing was a major concern in 2022, sales of pure EVs increased by over 50% from 2021. California is clearly doing its part to increase EV sales. On top of that, the Model Y is the best-selling vehicle in California with over 87,000 deliveries in 2022. In second place is the Model 3 with 79,000, making it the best-selling sedan. It has an impressive 15% of that market share compared to the Toyota Camry at 10.7%. Toyota is still the most popular brand in California, but this is largely due to the fact that they offer many more models than Tesla does and at lower prices. Tesla, however, was one of the few brands to increase its year-over-year sales in 2022, and it did so by over 54%. Behind Tesla are Genesis at 26.5%, Cadillac at 3.7%, Mercedes at 3.4%, and Kia at 2.4%. Big names such as Ford, GMC, and even Hyundai faced a decrease in sales last year. This chart from the report shows that EV sales have jumped from 9 to 17% in the last year, so other automakers may finally be feeling the pressure to offer compelling EVs in volume. Otherwise, they may get left behind. Next up today, the long-term goal for electric cars is that they're cheaper. We want them to be affordable, practical, and accessible to anyone, and one thing that's helping that a lot this year is incentives. When Tesla first announced the Model 3, they said it would start at $35,000. Technically, that model did briefly arrive, but for many reasons, the starting price of the Model 3, Tesla's cheapest car, is now $43,490. At the same time, though, if you qualify for the new EV tax incentive, you'll be able to get $7,500 back on taxes, making your purchase price more like $35,990, just a little over that originally promised price. The thing about this, though, is that many states, cities, and power companies have their own incentives that can be stacked, and this week we've heard about one allowing you to buy a brand new Model 3 for less than $29,000. After getting your Model 3 with the federal incentive for around $36,000, within the state of Oregon, there is an additional $7,500 incentive. This is through the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality and called their Clean Vehicle and Charge Ahead rebate programs. It is split into a couple parts, but anyone who resides in the state of Oregon can get a $2,500 rebate on the purchase or lease of a qualifying EV. Here's a chart of some qualifying EVs and the amount each of them receive there. The Model 3 qualifies among many other compelling EVs. However, for low and moderate income, you can also get an additional $5,000 off your purchase. Here's a chart showing some of the EVs that qualify there. The MSRP cap for this incentive is $50,000, so the Model Y is capped out, along with many other electric crossover SUVs. The great thing about this, as well, is that it's not a tax credit. Quote, the Oregon Clean Vehicle Rebate Program offers a rebate for Oregon drivers who purchase or lease zero-emission vehicles. It is not a tax credit. The program is designed to reduce vehicle emissions by encouraging more Oregonians to purchase or lease zero-emission vehicles. vehicles. On top of that, there are local incentives from places like utility providers, and these can range from $100 to $1,000 or so. This could mean that a $43,490 Model 3 gets a $7,500 federal tax credit, $2,500 Oregon Clean Vehicle rebate, $5,000 Oregon Charge Ahead rebate, and local incentive for a possible price of $28,390. Depending on your local incentives as well, you could get that car as cheap as $26,990. That's an incredible deal for Tesla owners living in Oregon. This is also available for the Mustang Mach-E, bringing that purchase down to around $30,000, but the most impressive and insane to me here is the Chevy Bolt. That car already starts cheap, so with all of these incentives stacked, it's possible to obtain that car for $10,000 within the state of Oregon. If you qualify for that price, it might be a no-brainer for you. While this is very exciting, of course, this is only for the state of Oregon. However, it does point out the importance of always checking up on state and local incentives. We hear everywhere about what is happening with the federal tax credit, but people often don't know that there's an incentive available in their state or city. Right now, California's programs are thin from what I can tell, but previously I got a $1,000 rebate from my power company and $2,500 rebate from the state of California for buying my 2020 Model Y. I'll link to a great website in the description below that will detail all the incentives you may qualify for. You simply type in your zip code and see all options for your area, including city, utility, state, and federal. Depending on where you live and what your income is like, there could be an incredible deal for you to get an electric car. In Oregon, people can save over $15,000 on a Tesla, Mustang Mach-E, or even Chevy Bolt. It pays to keep up on this research, and I'll try to keep you posted for the latest updates there as we hear about them. As Sawyer Merritt pointed out, Massachusetts has a new $3,500 rebate, and New Jersey will give you a rebate up to $4,000. Depending on your state, there may be a new one coming out sometime later this year. Next up today, just a quick update for the Cybertruck. We've seen a number of Cybertrucks on the road lately, and I detailed a bunch of those sightings in my last video. But we will keep seeing iterations of that truck as Tesla nears production. This time, we've seen one with a slightly different front end and the return of the massive windshield wiper. At Gregor Truck posted a photo of a Cybertruck sighting, and from what we can see, there are slightly different wheels, a slightly updated front end, the updated triangular side mirrors, and windshield wiper. Some have pointed to this truck having an entirely updated front end, but from my perspective, I simply see the same grille that has been there in the past, but with light leaking in from the headlights. Here's a previous prototype image, and it looks to have essentially the same front end as before, with that grille spot. The differences people are also pointing out may relate to lens distortion more than anything else. What do you think though? Does this front end look different than before, or is it just light leaking in? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Really curious to see what happens with that windshield wiper, since Elon said that is not the production wiper last time it was spotted on the truck. I wouldn't be surprised if it is the production wiper. Next up today, Elon Musk gave an update as to what we might be hearing about on the upcoming Investor Day. When that event was announced, they wrote in a press release, the event will be live streamed from our Gigafactory, Texas, with the option for some of our institutional and retail investors to attend in person, details to follow. Our investors will be able to see our most advanced production line, as well as discuss long-term expansion plans, Generation 3 platform, capital allocation, and other subjects with our leadership team. Now, Elon has confirmed in a tweet that he will be sharing his Master Plan Part 3 at that event, saying, Master Plan 3, the path to a fully sustainable energy future for Earth, will be presented on March 1st. The future is bright. He shared that with a photo invitation for Tesla's Investor Day taking place at Giga Texas. This will be separate from their annual shareholder meeting event and will focus on the company's progress as well as their plans for the future. Elon teased this new plan almost a year ago, and this is the third one he'll be releasing since Part 1 in 2006. In 2006, it was a blog post titled The Secret Tesla Motors Master Plan Just Between You and Me. He summarized that plan in 4 steps. Build sports car, use that money to build an affordable car, use that money to build an even more affordable car while doing above, also provide zero-emission electric power generation options. Then 10 years later, in 2016, he released Master Plan Part 2. In short, Master Plan Part 2 was to create stunning solar roofs with seamlessly integrated battery storage, expand the electric vehicle product line to address all major segments, develop a self-driving capability that is 10 times safer than manual via massive fleet learning, and enable your car to make money for you when you aren't using it. Tesla has achieved a lot of those goals, particularly from Part 1, but others will take a lot of work to achieve in the years ahead. Still, for the main vehicle parts of this, they clearly have somewhere to grow. At Tesla's Battery Day in 2020, they announced that new advancements in 4680 technology will allow them to start working on a $25,000 EV, but updates on that car have been scarce since. In their 2024 Q4 update, they list robotaxi and others as in development, but that seems several years away still at least, so it's tough to say that they've reached all major segments. As for Master Plan Part 3 though, most are pretty sure that it will be focused on scaling. FSD and robotaxis are still very much in progress and were already a part of Master Plan Part 2, so there isn't much to add there. However, for some clues as to what Tesla may be officially announcing, we can look at the photo that Elon shared. It appears to be a huge stack of body casts, over 5,000 of them. Corey Steuben posted a comparison photo of a body cast photo taken at the factory and a close-up of the Investor Day photo, and this definitely seems to be what it is. Then he and Sandy Munro did the math, and they hypothesized that this could be representative of their production volume in the year to come. Corey Steuben points out that each rack holds 8 casts, so there are 5,304 units in this photo. If you multiply that by a year's worth of production, that comes out to a little under 2 million body casts. This seems like a very likely interpretation because Tesla reached a production capacity of over 1.3 million cars in 2022, and Elon has said that 2 million is the goal for this year. He said, if it's a smooth year actually, without some big supply chain interruptions or massive problem, we actually have the potential to do 2 million cars this year. We're not committed to that, but I'm just saying that's the potential, and I think there would be demand for that too. It's also been hypothesized that these castings could possibly be for a smaller Tesla model, and we might finally see the unveiling of that $25,000 Tesla. That could be what Generation 3 platform is referring to here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just talk about the details of the platform, as opposed to releasing the car details itself. At the very least, I think they'll mention what their plans are though. My prediction is that this Investor Day will be something Tesla fans are desperately looking forward to, but may be disappointed in. Scale is the most important thing for EV makers and bringing costs down for customers, so Tesla's main focus will probably just be scaling for their most popular vehicle, the Model Y. That's what's most important to them and what will help them grow the most, but it isn't as exciting as the release of a Roadster or the full announcement of a brand new car. Last up today, some updates about other automakers. Rivian's latest software update has improved the range of the R1T and R1S. That update rolled out on February 7th along with several other improvements, and Rivian said, quote, thanks to various incremental improvements over previous software updates, this update includes updated EPA estimated range. The update also increases the depth of discharge, which increases the usable battery energy. You will now see higher available miles at the top of charge. John Rettinger's range increased by 14 miles on his R1T, and a user on Reddit claimed a 21-mile increase in conserve mode. On top of this, Rivian is expanding their Adventure Network, which has now reached the East Coast. The Rivian Adventure Network was introduced in 2021 as a response to Tesla's Supercharger network, and now one has been spotted in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. Their goal is to open 600 fast-charging stations with 3,500 plus chargers, which add up to 140 miles of range in 20 minutes, in locations off the beaten path. They have a map of current and upcoming chargers on their website, and it looks like they're well on their way. Ford seems to be cutting ties with Rivian, though. After investing $500 million in Rivian in 2019, they announced that they would be moving away from the partnership the next year, stating in a message to employees that they determined that it would be better to pivot from the Rivian skateboard platform and focus development efforts. According to Electrek, quote, in April 2022, Ford reported a $5.4 billion write-down on its investment after Rivian's stock collapsed over 70% from its highs, and now they have sold all but 10.5 million shares, leaving them with 1.15% of the company. Over at Lexus, the RZ450e is now available to pre-order in the US, and the starting price is higher than the Model Y at $59,650. The luxury trim, starting at $65,150, has a 14-inch touchscreen, 13-speaker sound system, heated and ventilated front seats, a wireless charger, panoramic sunroof, and more. This is the first EV from Lexus under parent company Toyota after they announced they would be going all electric by 2030. Porsche is developing a new EV, the K1, which is scheduled for release in 2027. It's an off-road 7-seater luxury SUV that's entirely new for the company. The cost of this one will be something over $180,000, so it will be competing with the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV and BMW iX, along with the Model X and whatever else might be out by then. The Porsche Boxster, which is scheduled to be released in 2025 alongside the Macan EV, was spotted charging at an Ionity station in Europe. These photos were posted on Twitter, and it appears to have a 180 kilowatt average charging speed at 53% state of charge. Those likely won't be the final charging speeds, so we'll see as this car develops, but it's exciting to see that vehicle. Over at Canoo, they're planning to sell 50 million shares of their common stock to Alliance Global Partners. Like others, Canoo has faced financial issues and was nearing bankruptcy in 2022. They're gearing up to finally produce their lifestyle vehicle this year, though, and plan to use the sale of $52.5 million for general working capital purposes. They plan to begin production this year at their plant in Oklahoma City and ultimately plan for a run rate of 20,000 vehicles a year. They currently actually plan for that by the end of this year, but I find that to be questionable. Definitely rooting for it if it's possible, though. They then have another planned location in Pryor, Oklahoma to produce Panasonic battery cells, but that is less firm. Canoo's advantage is that they have many orders of their vans from companies like Walmart, Zeba, and more, so they will likely be focused there before they focus on customer orders. I personally love how crazy their lifestyle van looks, so I have one pre-ordered just in case. I can't wait to check it out. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see how Tesla may be putting other automakers out of business, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.